mga political dynasties ay matagal nang naging kasama sa politika ng Pilipinas, ano? Hindi na ito bago. Kaya lang based doon sa mga research na nakikita natin ngayon, parami ng parami sila at nagiging mas matindi yung kanilang influence sa politics. At ngayon nga, pati ang party list system na dapat sana doon sa mga marginalized ay pinapasukan na rin nila. Uh, Saan hahantong ito? Paano tayo makakabuo ng isang bansang maayos kung ang political power ay nasa kamay lang ng iilang membro ng mga political dynasties? Kasama natin si Carmela Fonbuena. Siya ang Executive Director ng Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism, isang batikang outfit. They came out with a series of reports recently on political dynasties, the new makeup of political dynasties, and also isang telling na nilabas nila yung tungkol dun sa pag-encroach na rin ng mga political dynasties sa party list system. At kasama din natin ngayon, second time niya dito sa programa natin, si Professor Roland Simbulan. Siya ang chairman ng Center for People Empowerment in Governance, CENPEG. Isa itong think tank na nakabase sa I believe sa University of the Philippines at matagal na nilang sinusubaybayan itong issue ng political dynasties at party lists. I've always asserted on my own personal capacity that you can trace a direct line between political dynasties and the many problems that we in the Philippines have in terms of a lot of things, the democratic experiment, elections, our rule of law, even human rights. So maraming mga aspeto ito, ano? At ito nga ngayon, ang presidente natin ay isang Marcos, nanggagaling din sa isang dinastiya, at sila yung mga tingin ng marami ay nagpalakas pa nga nung hawak ng political dynasty sa Philippine politics mula nung dekada 70 hanggang ngayon. Now, I'd like to start with you, Carmela. No? So, can you walk us through the findings recently, the reports that your outfit published recently?
Salamat, Kaloy. Siguro simulan natin itong Oktubre, 'di ba, nag-file ng certificates of candidacy ang ating mga politiko. And this is the reason why we decided, no, to look into political dynasties. Kasi sabi mo naman, matagal na rin talaga ang political dynasty na mamayagpag. But what happened in October? In this age of social media, we're seeing changes in the campaigns, ano? And in
Mhm.
October, we saw these families going to precincts together.
Oh.
Buong angkan. Pupunta sila para mag-file. And we see them, di ba, usually meron yung space where they talk to the media. They're together. And then it's like a brand. So ang
Mhm.
sabi nga ng mga electoral reform advocates, it's very brazen, no? Na kung dati defensive ang mga political dynasties, now they're very proud that they belong to these dynasties, that I am a
Ah.
member. Kami pong pamilya ay nagsisilbi sa bayan, sa probinsya, ganyan ano. So when you're talking to electoral reform advocates, talagang medyo discouraging siya ano, na bakit ganito? Alam nating hindi mabuti ang dulot ng political dynasties, but what's the appetite, no? Ano na ba ang voter perception of political dynasties? Parang talo yung pag-intindi kung ano
Mhm.
yung epekto ng dinastiya sa Pilipinas. And so but the electoral reform advocates also saw the opportunity. And even PCIJ saw the opportunity. Oo nga, no, masyado nang madami. Kasi talagang nakita mo sila. Dati alam mo lang na kaya mo silang bilangin. Ngayon, if you look at their social media pages, they have family photos. Reunion
Mhm.
ng pamilya nila noong October. And this really prompted PCIJ, sandali, bilangin na lang natin. And fortunately, in October, we had 9 interns, no? That
Mhm.
ano kayong magandang project ng mga interns natin? Can you imagine the big task of counting political dynasties, ano, all over the country? But we have 9 interns and then the editorial staff. We designed a methodology. Tingnan natin, kaya ba nating bilangin?
Ito ba yung istorya na ang title, Meet the Obese Political
Yes.
Dynasties of the Philippines?
That's the
Okay.
start of we were thinking this could take a very long process to count how many members of political dynasties nationwide. But we have very eager researchers. We were able to come up with methodology that we're able to check. ilan. Ang methodology kasi namin is hindi na namin binilang ilan yung since 100 years ago, ano? Ang binilang kasi namin kung ilan yung tumatakbo sa susunod na taon. So mas very very specific ang aming methodology. So when we said obese dynasties, galing naman ito kina Professor Tehanki, Professor Mendoza na terminology, ano, the thin, fat, and now obese dynasties, ano, dahil marami ng pag-aaral nga sa mga dinastiya. When we said obese, ito yung mga dynasties who have at least 5 members running next year. So ibang
Mhm.
usapan pa to dun sa nag-retire na, no?
Mhm.
I was talking to a reporter earlier today. Carmela, i-update natin yung database nyo. Kasi yung mga singson, more than 20 plus sila actually. Sa bilang namin,
Really?
hindi aabot. Kasi minsan, yung we are very transparent about our methodology, ano? Because when we look at COMELEC list, when we look at the social media pages of the candidates and the news reports published online, ano, there might be candidates that are not reported. Kunyari, konsehal,
Mhm.
maraming konsehal yan na pwedeng hindi na nire-report or hindi na rin, hindi wala sa social media. So, ang atin ay hindi pa nga kumpleto. And this is something that we'd like to invite the public to help us with. Let's complete the data. We had a Google form and we've received, no, some responses na may mga kulang na miyembro. So, this is a database that we make accessible to the public.
Mhm.
Pagtulungan nating buuin, talagang makikita mo na ang dami nila. Hindi mahirap maghanap pala ng dinastiya na may 5 tatakbo next
Yeah.
year. So that's really, we expected it, but we were still surprised by the
Super.
extent, ano, na sobrang dami. Alam naman natin yan, pero iba yung,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
growing, no? May mga bago, maraming
Yeah.
luma, marami ding bago.
One of the things that you said there that really struck me was they're not only super dumami na at tumaba, but they're actually kind of proud of it. They're owning it. The political dynasty kind of brand na sinasabi mo. Now, I'd like to throw the question now to Professor Roland as to, is this something new sa tingin ninyo na itong mga, kasi dati kasi pag sinabi mong political dynasty ka, merong halo pang konting hiya na tipong okay, di naman siguro or magaling naman kami, mga ganun. Pero parang based on sinasabi ni nga ni Carmela, parang okay, they're owning it. I mean, not to the point na pinangangalandakan nila, I suppose, but they're not ashamed or embarrassed of it.
Well, palagay ko nasanay na itong mga ito eh sa tagal na naghahari sila sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Pilipinas ng ating kapuluan. Nasanay na sila na ano eh. Kaya nasanay na sila dito sa well, in a way there's some kind of impunity here kasi
Mm.
they seem to get away with it, no? Kasi they not only do they is there a concentration of economic power, no, that is owned and held by these rich families, but there is also a concentration of political power. Tapos yung
Okay.
dalawa yon, yung economic power na yun tsaka political power, they reinforce one another, no? And the reason why ang Senpeg yung aming think tank that is focused on empowering people in governance, kaya kami worried dito, and that's why we have been taking up this issue uh, is because itong phenomenon na ito is very very anti-democratic, no?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it runs against the grain of what we consider to be the substance of democracy. Kasi if you have a country where economic power and wealth is already focused, no, in so few families, and at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, side by side with that, pati yung political power, no, ay nakafocus or naka uh, it's concentrated in these few families, no, because if we go back historically, no, sa origins ng political dynasty, ano yan eh, matagal ng phenomenon nito
Of
actually.
course.
Nung ngang dumating ang mga ano rito, even when the uh, foreign yung mga mananakop natin dito mula sa Kastila, no, dumating dito, and later the Americans, no? They collaborated with these families that owned a lot of land, and to some extent also nung early times they already held political power, no, in their provinces, no.
Mhm.
Ito yung nakipag-collaborate
Yeah.
with the foreign interests that colonized our country, no, and
Yeah.
the colonizers relied on them to control our people.
At
Yun
hindi
nga,
na nagbago yun mula
kaya
noon.
kaya yung kanilang interest na nilalaban dito, kaya sila nakipag-collaborate din, self-interest. Of course,
Of
it's
course.
hindi para sa no. Kaya kinakalaban nila yung pati yung mga nagre-resist sa colonization ng ating bansa, no. That's how it started, no. Kaya
Yeah.
ngayon because of their collaboration, binibigyan pa sila ng reward, no? Ano ba,
Yeah.
ng mga Kastila, yung mga loyal sa kanilang pamilya, binibigyan nila ng mga lupain, no? At that's how they expanded their properties, no? All over the country, no?
And it seems that remains the kind of the status quo, no? But gusto kong balikan, Carmela, kung ano pa yung mga iba yung mga findings dito sa research niyo in October. But one of the things that I'd like to ask you though, given na democratized na masyado yung mga tools ngayon ng mga tao to express themselves or to make their presence known. At sabi mo nga branding, yung the way people brand themselves have become democratized and easy and cheap. Do you think this has something to do with this na medyo na-embolden itong mga political families na meron na pala tayong social media, may TikTok, may YouTube and all of that. Might as well take advantage of that. But also at the same time, saan papasok dyan, and perhaps Professor Roland later, saan papasok dyan ngayon yung conscientization na ngayon ng mga political families na to na tipong, okay, you've been ruling this country for how many decades? Wala ba kayong hiya na tungkol dito? But back to the question of tools, Carmela, what do you have to say about
Oo,
that?
Kaloy. Sabi nga ni Professor, no, they've ruled with impunity for decades. Ang nagbago lang talaga ngayon is yung paglaganap ng social media. Kasi
Mhm.
I don't think bago yun na pinangangalandakan nila in their own communities. But now we are able to see. Kasi they do these videos for social media, di ba? May banda
Mhm.
pa yan. At may
Yeah.
supporters pa yan outside the filing areas, ano? And so as a researcher, we're able to see these videos. If you can only capture them all, it's really a fiesta. October 1
And
to
they have
8.
people na nagdo-document, no?
And
Taking
then they
all of
have,
this way.
alam mo naman yung same day edit, ang ating mga politiko ngayon because they know that they're only, or they can engage with voters on social media. I think that's the difference. It's not so much that they're more brazen now. I'm not sure. Sabi nga ni Professor, they've ruled with impunity for decades. It's just that we are able to see now. Kasi dati, wala namang video yan sa social media, Ngayon, kitang-kita natin sa mga social media pages nila mismo na nandoon yung mga they've ruled with impunity. At i-share ko lang siguro yung numbers from our
Mhm.
research, no? So we started with the obese dynasties. We counted, and this was in October, at least 2 dozen. But we should update at least 2 dozen political families nationwide, yung may at least 5 family members running next year, no? Pero I think if we update the number because we continue to add names to our list, feeling ko lalaki ito. Sa
Okay.
House of Representatives, we have 8 in 10 district representatives, no,
Wow,
belonging to
yeah.
political families. And we're talking about elected officials with at least one other member in elected office. Tapos yung party list natin, ang dami-dami rin nila. Very interesting ay yung pattern of senators having relatives running for party list seats.
Oh, yeah.
Hindi lang ito yung mga political clans from the provinces, but also the senators, their wives, their children
So we're talking
running
about
for
the Revillas, the Lapids, and the Tulfos, among others.
even Senator Grace Poe's son is running for the first time as a party list
Okay.
for a party list seat. So see even the wife of former Senator Manny Pacquiao, Jinky, is
Mhm.
running for a party list seat. So I think we expected it, but we were still surprised by the names that we saw. A relative is it the wife of Senator Jinggoy, running
Mhm.
for a party list seat also. And then we go to the governors, 71 of 82 governors nationwide. Dinouble check talaga namin to isa-isa kasi 82 lang sila, di ba?
Mhm.
71 belong to have at least one other family member in elected office, ano.
That's
Tapos it means
amazing.
11 na lang ang hindi hawak ng political dynasty. And curiously, and this should be a follow-up story for us, may marami sa professor, marami sa Cordillera, ano, yung mga probinsya na, and this is a very interesting story by itself that we've asked our fellows to also do. Ano yung resilience ba ang tawag doon, Professor? Bakit ang Cordillera ay hindi ganon kalakas yung kanilang political dynasty? So I think we'll try to continue to understand ano ba tong mga patterns,
Mhm.
behaviors ng ating voters that encourage them to continue electing political dynasties. Alam naman natin dyan, no? Ang tanong nga minsan is there a good dynasty?
Or
Or
about dynasty.
Or meron din nagsasabi na okay naman si Gov kahit na political dynasty siya, no? But how should our
Yeah.
discourse be governed pagdating sa mga dinastiya, no?
So let's delve into that later kung yung mga good dynasties na sinasabi nila by way of justifying droves of them running. But Professor, back dun sa question ni Carmela, I mean, is this like the Cordillera is an outlier here, I suppose. But ano yung naging tingin nyo na, because I understand nag-ano kayo ng press release ng statement regarding the reacting to the findings of PCIJ, no? So can you tell us kung ano yung naging buod nung reaction nyo na yun, and what's your analysis of what the PCIJ had found out?
Yeah, well, first of all, let's not give ourselves the idea that when we talk about political dynasties, no, na talagang completely walang competition, no, yung
Mhm.
dynastic families. Actually, ang nangyayari, ang labanan sa politika, nagiging away lang ng ilang pamilya. Sila ang nagpapalitan, no? So there may be some periods of time na nawawala o walang o nababawasan yung isang dating namumunong dynastic family at pinapalitan ng iba na competitor niya. Pero dynastic din yung pamilyang yon, no?
Mhm.
Pero the thing is, sila-sila lang naglalabanan, no? It becomes an intra-elite competition. Yun ang
Yeah.
ano natin, ganun ang nagiging texture ng democracy natin, where most of our people do not have any more real access to opportunities in public service.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pero nagiging away lang nitong mga ilang mga tao na kumbaga parang brand sila, mga
Mhm.
brand na produkto na minamarket nila, yung pangalan nila, at sila lang ang naglalaban. No? Gusto ko lang, I think itong status ko ngayon, no, kasi Carmela was uh, was running through some of the data based on the on those who are filing no
Opo, Prof.
the
Yung sa
dynasty. Pero
nag-file lang.
dun sa
COCs.
patay dun sa status quo na data, actually this is based on the data of the Ateneo School of Government, no, sila Dr. Ronald Mendoza sa kanyang research, which he began when he was with the Asian Institute of Management. But when he became the head of the Ateneo School of Government, he continued the research on the political dynasties in the Philippines. No, just to give you an idea of the status quo, sa kasalukuyan, 80% of our governors, no, come from dynasties, no. 67% of our congressmen, no, yung mga from districts, no, 67% also come from dynasties. And 53% of our mayors also come from dynasties. And at ito yung itong gusto natin pag-usapan ngayon. 63% of yung party list representatives come from dynasties, and there was even a time, itong nakakagulat. There was even a time when one of the, hindi ko nababanggitin yung pangalan niya, pero one of the party list representatives, no, was even recorded as one of the richest, no, in the House of Representatives. Imagine, party list, ano yan, marginalized, tapos ikaw pinakamayaman, no?
Yeah.
Ganito na, well, just, I don't want to, I want to avoid using this term, parang, ganito na binababoy yung ating public
Yeah,
service,
yeah. Well,
no?
you can use
Ng
that
mga
term.
sorry sa mga sa mga baboy.
Pero Professor, tanong ko lang, and also, Ella, baka may ano ka rin dito, insight ka rin dito. And you might have mentioned this already, but ano yung parameter natin? So when we say something belongs to a political dynasty, what exactly are we talking about? And how many members of the family are actually running? Sabi mo kanina, at least five, but like, yun lang ba yun? Or meron pang ibang context ito na kailangan natin to keep in mind? Like, at this very moment, siguro lima sila or tatlo sila or dalawa lang. But at some point in the past, baka 10 silang tumakbo. So, paano natin tawag dito, i-differentiate yung mga ganitong klaseng konteksto?
Well, usually they belong to the immediate family members, no?
Okay.
So, nanggaling sila sa grandparents, tapos yung mga anak nila, tapos yung grandchildren, tapos later pati yung mga asawa ng ilang membro ng pamilya nila, pinapatakbo nila. Because remember, there are since there are term limits, no, to how many
Yeah.
terms you can run for public office, ang ginagawa nila, kung ano na hindi na sila makatakbo yung ilang members ng families to certain positions, pinapatakbo nila yung iba pang members ng family nila. So the the merry-go-round is no is confined to the to the members of the immediate family. In
Family.
fact, iba yung iba sa local level, batang-bata pa pinapatakbo ng konsihal, no, to
Mm-hmm.
prepare
Yeah.
the higher positions of office. Doon nagsisimula, no? So yun nga, and if we want to differentiate between the Thin Dynasty, kasi dati even the origin of the term dynasty, ano yan, succession, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Rule by succession, no, na vertical yung namamana mo yung position, but this time it is not just vertical, but as some political scientists have described it, fat dynasty. We have fat dynasty, yung horizontal
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or obese, no, kasi sabay-sabay sa iba-ibang posisyon, they practically monopolize the available political positions that are there, no? Halimbawa, sa isang lugar, hindi lang nila hawak yung governor na galing sa member ng family, but also mayors, no? Tapos the congressmen representing the congressional districts. And now pati itong party list system, pinasukan nila para dagdagan, no? Dagdagan yung mga miyembro ng kanilang mga pamilya na merong posisyon sa public service. So talagang it's very worrisome. I think people who are concerned about how our democracy is being run, we should be concerned about this, because political power is not, or public service is not a family affair.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be for the interest of the nation, of our people, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
How can you have check and balance, no? Kung kung yung nasa local official tsaka nasa legislative branch and probably even the executive branch, mga galing sa members ng family mo. How can you,
Mm-hmm.
di ba, we should be worried about the lack of check and balance here, because
Yeah.
clearly there is conflict of interest
Of
here.
course, of
Ang ano pa dito, sila yung mga
corruption.
ari-arian nila, business interest.
Yeah. Yeah.
How can you legislate against your own interest kung mga ano
That's
mo yan,
true.
pamilya mo yan, no? How can you uh, legislate laws that will put limits on business activities, no, that may be detrimental to the environment. Kung mga members din ng pamilya mo yung nandyan, di ba?
Yeah,
So,
and also in ano pa nga professor, in terms of the bigger issues, for instance of accountability, like yung mga nangyari kay mga allegations against kay Duterte, may papel din dito yung mga dinastiya in terms of trying to frustrate yung efforts to hold people accountable, higher officials accountable. But before we continue on that,
mm,
Carmela, can you tell us a little bit more about kung ano yung naging challenge niyo methodologically in terms of, lalo na doon sa party list ninyo na research? Because that's something, I mean, of course, it's not new, but the way the party list system now is being, well, bastardized or basically hijacked by all of these political dynasties, medyo concerning siya because that was not the intent of the party list law.
Yung sa party list, mas mahabang research siya kasi 146 yung nag-submit ng kanilang CONA back in October. We did the same story counting noong nakaraang 2022 election na yun nga spouses, children, pack the party list race, magkakamag-anak. Ang napansin lang talaga namin ngayon ay yung mga kamag-anak ng senador. I think that stands out for me, no? Asawa ni Senator Jinggoy kasama sa party list seat. Kasama nila ang mga artista na kumukuha na rin ng mga party list seat, no? Pero dominant pa rin yung mga political dynasties. Siguro, ang challenge namin sometimes is not particularly on the party list seat. Kunyari si Governor Hofer ng Zamboanga Sibugay, mag-isa niya na tumatakbo sa family na tumatakbo next year, no? As far as we know, mag-isa niya. Pero alam natin yung pamilya niya ay founding father ng province mismo, no?
Mhm.
Ng Zamboanga Sibugay, ang mga Hofer. So nagtanong tayo. Sabi ni Professor Julio Tehanqui, may typologies ang mga political scientists diyan sa pagbibilang. Binilang naming political dynasty si Governor Hofer dahil pag ipinaliwanag ni Professor kanina na may vertical at saka may horizontal dynasties. At ang mga Hofer vertical, talagang pinapamana. Iba yung succession ang dinastiya nila. Ngayon focus tayo sa obese kasi same time mataba talaga sila masyado halos lahat.
Mhm.
At ang yung nga sinasabi ni Professor, no, Professor, nasa iisang bahay na lang ang namumuno minsan ng isang bayan at ang isang kapitolyo, pwede lang silang mag-family dinner, kompleto na yung mga magdedesisyon
Yeah,
ng
yeah.
polisiya. Isang bahay. So one of the striking comments that we got in our story, sa isang bubong ang nagdidesisyon. Kung titignan natin, minsan isang bubong na lang talaga.
Literally, ano?
Literally, ang nagdedesisyon ng mga polisiya sa mga LGU. Kaya yun yung kailangan nating isipin. Yun nga yung sinasabi ni Professor na nasaan ang check and balance. Kung ganun ang nangyayari ang decision making sa mga LGUs. Wala, mahirapan ka talagang i-check ang corruption pag ganyan ang nangyayari.
Let's talk about that a little bit more, Professor. So, okay, yung mga deleterious na effect ng political dynasties. Okay, so we know talagang it's a threat to checks and balance. It's a lot of the corruption cases that we've found in the Philippines are traced to members of political dynasties. In terms of the everyday management of this country, somehow involved sila. Ano pa ang nakikita niyong ibang epekto nito? I mean, we always say that dapat pag ikaw ay isang representative democracy, dapat hindi dapat concentrated yung power among a few people. Pero the reality is, yun nga ang nagiging ngayon, no, na concentrated na in the hands of a few political families. So, pero ano pa bang iba nakikita yung tipong adverse na impact ng political dynasties, Professor?
alam mo, Kaloy, believer ako sa hindi lang sa democratization ng ating politics, pero yung ding democratization of our society through the democratization of the gene pool. Kasi nga,
Mhm.
kung yung gene pool mo, ang pinanggagalingan lang makitid, yung ilang miyembro ng
Incestuous.
tsaka yung nalilimit yung kasi ang daming opportunity na kung democratized at wider yung gene pool, matatap mo talaga yung creativity and genius of a lot of people, no? And
Mhm.
actually, just to tell you the truth, this is what China did, no?
Okay.
Dati kasi sa China ang kanilang napakalaking populasyon was a disadvantage, but they managed to transform their society so much so that yung napaka-democratized na gene pool nila, no, which they have tapped, no, for lalo na para sa creativity nito, magamit ito para sa kanilang mga technologies, no, inventions and so forth. This is ano ito yung may potential for national development no?
Mhm,
Kasi yung
mhm.
human capital natin, which is really found in people, no? Kung maano mo ito, ma-tap mo ito talaga, a country can go so far. In fact,
Yeah.
para sa akin din, ito yung naging sekreto ng isang uh, well-known immigrant nation katulad ng United States. Yung gene pool ng US, if you look at it, di ba, may kinuha pa from, dinukot sila
Mhm.
at inabduct na mga dating mga black from mga
Slaves, yeah.
ginawang slaves from Africa, tapos yung mga immigrants from Europe, no, political exiles, tapos from China din, no, and other Asian countries, naghalo-halo yan. And I think this is this is the secret of having a great nation, no, a great nation, and even its industrialization eventually. So I think ito yung hindi natin natatap, and I think a country that only is able to tap the creativity and from the gene pool of a few families, that country will not, it will be very difficult to develop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kasi kailangan mo talaga i-tap itong, i-harness itong energy ng maraming tao. So people who would like to, to contribute to national development, and that can only happen if you democratize the gene pool especially for our political system. And I think this is the reason why the framers of our 1987 Constitution nilagay nila yung constitutional provision na kailangan yung estado masiguro na there shall be equal, di ba, equality in access to public service at yung prohibition on political dynasties. Kaya nilagay yun doong provision. However, dahil ayon din sa saligang batas, kailangan ng kailangan ng legislation itong pagpapatupad ng probisyong ito, dahil dominated yung ating political institutions precisely by this kind.
Sila din ang dapat magpasa ng batas to ban
They,
themselves.
yeah,
Silang
they
nagbablock.
can't rule against themselves.
Yeah, you cannot expect them to legislate against their own interests, in other words, di ba?
Yeah.
Kaya nga nila nilukluk ang sarili nila diyan para harangin yung mga ganyang mga democratizing legislation that will
Yeah.
lessen their power. Gusto nila dagdagan pa yung power na yan para i-widen yung kanilang economic interests, i-widen yung political interest nila, and their opportunities too, which are already a monopoly. They have a monopoly
Yeah.
over the rest of the population.
That was the intent of the party list law na their law recognized that there's a problem of representation, kaya nila nilagay yan. But even then ngayon they pretty much hijacked it. So is there a way out of this? I mean, in terms of the constitutional provisions on political dynasty, again, we can't expect them to legislate against themselves, right? Kasi conflict of interest nga naman yan. But also the party list law. I mean, obviously there needs to be some changes in how these laws are being enforced. But in your research, Carmela, the PCIJ, and also Senpeg's analysis professor, is there some kind of an opening here in terms of finally making sure that these laws are actually enforced properly, or wala na talaga? Carmela.
I'm sure si Prof mas malalim yung kanilang review of the policies. Ang nakikitang opportunity kasi yung SK Law professor merong prohibition. So mayroong pag-uusap na dahil ang party list law ay hiwalay, kung mahirap mang gumawa ng isang comprehensive law that will prohibit political dynasties in government, baka daw sa party list law man lang pwedeng simulan. Kasi baka hindi nga ban all throughout eh. Baka
Mhm.
pwedeng isa-isahin. May SK na. In fact, meron din sa BARM, no? Sa Bangsamoro election. Meron ng prohibition on political dynasties doon. At isa nga yun sa tinignan natin sa filing sa should be a historic filing for the first regular elections in the BARM, no? Pero meron ngayong pending na postponement. But dun sa form na pinipirmahan ng mga kandidato for the political parties in Bangsamoro, merong check dun eh, na dapat walang kamag-anak, first consanguinity. So, I
Mhm.
understand, Professor, masyadong malalim yung debate, no? Kasi ang rason nila kung magbaban ka, sino yung ibaban mo? Buong
Mhm.
angkan ba? O first, second, third level of consanguinity. Pero pwede kasi siyang isa-isahin daw sa
Mhm.
batas. Party list law is a separate law. If it is amended, and I think ito yung agenda, kunyari, ng mamamayang liberal, ano, former Senator Laila de Lima, they've been vocal about it, na dapat i-amend yung party list law to prohibit nga the dynasties there. Hindi ko lang alam, Professor, kung kakayanin ng warm bodies ng mga nila sa Congress ano na magpapasa nito. Pero ito yung sinabi nilang agenda nila. Professor, bago rin ito, no? Ang mga political parties natin ay nag-field na rin ng kandidato sa
Party
party
list.
list. Yung Aksyon Demokratiko, meron din silang nominees next year. Sina dating Mayor Braganza, ano, Aksyon Demokratiko to ni dating Senator Raul Roco. I think
Rocco, yeah.
I don't know who. So at least Liberal Party and Aksyon Demokratiko are fielding candidates next year. I don't think the Lakas, the NPs have fielded candidates yet, Professor. Ano, yung iba ay talagang ginawa nilang political party ay mga pamilya nila. Yun
But
ang
that actually raises one point, Carmela, no, na yung pagpasok nitong mga Liberal Party, mamamayang liberal, yung Action Demokratiko, can be also seen as a way of the weaker political parties to insinuate themselves back into the mainstream of Philippine politics to pursue their whatever reform agenda they might have, no? Is that a fair way of looking at it? Na kasi nga medyo na marginalize sila because of they're not as popular as the ruling party. Baka ito yung way in nila na maging relevant pa rin sila, Professor?
Yeah, sayang kasi itong party list system eh. I had hopes that when this provision in the Constitution was included, I had hopes that it would be really an opportunity for the really marginalized sectors of our society, especially if they are organized, to
Mhm.
have a true voice and representatives in our Congress, no?
Mhm.
Kasi kung tutuusin, mas madaling makapasok maging congressman o maging
Yeah.
representative at maipanalo kung tatakbo ka sa party list than running in a congressional district, di ba?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kung saan perahan kasi balita ko in many provinces now yung vote buying ano na ginagawang by installment na yung malayo pang election o lumalapit pa lang election pinapadala by GCash eh. Yung,
Yeah. We're not even talking about it ayuda, no? Na
Oo,
ginagawa na
oh,
nilang ano.
yung ano nila ganun, iba-ibang ginagamit pang itong bagong technologies para and yung cashless natin no para ma perpetuate itong dynastic rule no. So I had hopes that it would really be an opportunity for uh, sectors, the really marginalized sectors, and here we mean the poor, no, the poor sectors who have less in life, less normally less yung kanilang nabibigyang serbisyong pampubliko para mag-compete, no, with the elite parties na kontrolado ng mga alliances ng mga dynasties natin no
Mhm.
kasi
Mhm.
you can see how through the performance of certain party list represent groups no who have managed to get seats in our congress we have seen how they are really doing their job well, no? 'Di ba? As real opposition and fiscalizers, 'di ba?
Mhm, mhm.
Oo, yung Makabayan Block, no? Iilan lang sila pero napaka ano and even the Akbayan, no? Talagang na-improve nila even yung quality ng debates eh. Kasi kung yung mga galing sa dynasties lang ang nandun sa Kongreso, eh ano na kung ano-ano na lang yung pag-uusapan doon, walang
Yes.
walang ano. Pero the level of debates has really improved with the entry of some of the genuine party list groups, no, that represent really the marginalized sectors.
They are practically now playing the role of the opposition.
Yeah, yeah, the true opposition. Hindi
Nag-cover
walang
ako ng Congress since Arroyo time, ano, talagang sila yung tumatayo na to oppose yung mga questionable policies. Kung nakikita natin yung medyo wheeling and dealing na yung mga political dynasties, ano, may tatayo, guaranteed naman na may tatayo
Yeah.
from the progressive groups.
Yeah. Go on, Professor. Meron ka pang dagdag.
lalo na meron silang ano kasi organized na ano no constituents no
Yes. Yes.
nationwide and their entry into the party list further encourages them to widen their organization.
Pero
Yeah.
prof na target sila kasi nung panahon ni Duterte, President Duterte ano. Kaya
Yeah,
kumonte ang kanilang.
yeah.
Ang ang napansin pa namin professor dito nga sa pagbibilang namin sa party list no. It's na pinoint out ng mga political analyst. It's really the proliferation of political dynasties having party forming party list groups with one seat. Kasi yung probinsya nila can elect a party list
With one seat.
400 about a little over 300,000 almost guaranteed ka
Oh,
na of one
wow.
seat 400,000 so these provinces can deliver so you'll see especially yung mga probinsya ko no yung region ko sa Northern Luzon ano talagang ang mga dynasties diyan may kasama sumusunod lang yung iba ngayon pag nagsimula yan talaga sa
Oh, wow.
mga Northern Luzon dynasties nagbumuo sila ng mga party list kasi kaya nilang i-deliver hindi yan makakakuha ng more than although ang tinggog, no, ni
Mhm.
Speaker Martin Romualdez may 2 seats sila. Um,
I mean,
yun ang pattern.
admittedly, that seems smart as a
Because
strat.
it's a numbers game eh. Ang
Oo
election
nga.
talaga ay numbers game ang nangyayari sa
Kumbaga,
Pilipinas
meron na
eh.
silang ano eh, may captive audience na sila, kumbaga, di ba?
They
If
can
that,
deliver yung 300,000 mas madali. Mas madali
yeah.
talaga siyang ibigay
I mean,
at
obviously,
mga anak minsan.
yeah, is that something that the amendment of the law should address? I mean, it seems obvious, right? I mean, kung mayroong
Kailangan
mga
talaga
amendment.
kailangan talagang i-comply ng lawmakers professor ano yung constitutional prohibition on
Yeah.
political dynasties.
Kailangan
Um,
talaga i-disqualify sila eh. Kasi yung sa Constitution is really a prohibition, di ba?
Mhm.
Yung sa mga dynasties, political dynasties.
What do you think is keeping the COMELEC from acting on that?
that has to be a law. That's not COMELEC.
Yeah, yung
Okay.
ano, oh,
It's a
as provided for
legislation.
by law. Yung yun ang tricky ano sa Constitution eh, 'di ba? As provided for
As
by law.
provided for by law. Okay, that makes.
Implementation ng ano ng marami nating there's still this provision, particular provision as well as other provisions hindi ma-implement fully because of the of this required action by Congress. Since Congress is dominated by political dynasties, what else can we expect, di ba? Sila,
Yeah,
sila
yeah.
mismo ang
Ang isa pa
haharap dyan.
naming tinitignan, Professor, ito nga yung good dynasties, ano, na nagsisilbi naman ang ating mga dynasties. So what we tried to analyze, nagsisilbi naman. Of course, it's anti-democratic, but they provide services. At ito nga yung sinasabi, Professor, no, na incumbency of the incumbent. So they have access to resources, they're able to distribute ayuda. So nagsisilbi naman. We tried to plot yung poverty incidents uh per province, yung mga probinsya na kontrolado ng mga political dynasty professor. We're trying to understand how do we measure nga ba kung
Kung ano yung good dynasty.
nagde-deliver, who
Oh.
is a good dynasty, who delivers. Ang findings namin, ang finding namin essentially is you cannot rely on poverty incidence as a measure of the performance of dynasties. Na kung porket mayaman yung probinsya,
Or
city,
maayos.
it does not mean you credit it to the political dynasty because a pattern emerged. It's not so much the performance of the political dynasty, but concentration of investments. You will see
Yes.
in the poverty incidence na ang mga Luzon are better off. Metro Manila, for sure. Metro Manila areas are higher, are performing better. Lower poverty incidence, susunod ang Luzon. Nakukulelat ang Southern Luzon. I think it's because of the typhoons that they suffer every year, pushes them back, sets them back. Susunod ang Visayas, and then the poorest provinces is Mindanao. So it shows us na hindi mo pwedeng gamiting
Rason.
measure by itself yung poverty. Hindi pwedeng sabihin na mayaman naman kami dito sa probinsya namin, ibig sabihin we're
Kasi
performing. So ang measure, yun ang kailangan natin. Siguro when we try to assess kung sino ang good dynasty, if there's a good dynasty at all, Professor, no?
That seems like a contradiction in
yung
terms.
kasi ang paborito nilang reason,
Linya.
argument eh. So if some certain members of these well-entrenched dynasties are asked, no, sasabihin nila, there are also good dynasties like our dynasty. Pero ang hindi nila sinasabi o hindi nila pinapaliwanag is that over other competitors, no? Kung dynasty kayo, tapos ilang dekada na kayong namumuno diyan, kayo pa pinakamayayaman diyan, you practically have uh, a monopoly, no? Yung family mo, you have practically a monopoly of the uh, yung patronage, di ba?
Mhm.
Political patronage. Eh, hindi mo naman pera yan eh. No, yung inaano nila, ayuda ganun, no? Ayuda style o kaya kung merong disaster, etc. Pera ng taong bayan yan at kung tutuusin, kumikita pa sila diyan. Kumikita pa sila diyan, no? Pag nagaano sila ng ayuda, no? Diyan sa ayudang supposedly pinamimigay nila sa mga tao, and it perpetuates a kind of feudal mentality among this is a relationship nila sa tao. So mahirap maalis ng mga tao kasi parang master sila eh, no?
Mhm.
Kung dati ang mga ganyang nagpe-perpetuate ng yung mga landlords, di ba? Big landlords sa Philippines sa kanilang mga kasama, di ba? Tenants. Ngayon,
Mhm.
itong mga dynastic families, no, you create conditions uh, why people have become poor, tapos pag ngayong nahihirapan sila ginagamit mo yung political patronage na hindi mo naman pera, and pag pinamimigay mo as if galing sa pamilya mo,
Yeah.
di ba?
Yeah.
And I think that's very bothersome na you perpetuate that mentality among our people, no.
Supposedly, our democratic experiment, ang layunin nito ay mag-create ka ng mga institutional reforms. But since itong ang idea ng good dynasty is personality driven, you know, may isa lang pamilya, may isang membro lang ng pamilya diyan na matino, maayos, pwede nilang i-claim na good dynasty sila, and that way they perpetuate themselves in power. But the problem with that is that as we see in the history of this country, yung nga, di ba, mayroong ang tinatawag the anarchy of families, that even well-intentioned dynasties, as soon as their power is threatened by another dynasty, all hell breaks loose. And that is a very very ano na parang reality na every member of that dynasty should contend with, and often as nakikita natin kaya nga nag-away-away, that's why our politics is so violent, they will try to hold on to that power. So hindi siya, kumbaga hindi assurance yung pagiging good politician ng isang member ng isang family na this will institutionalize good governance, kasi nga nakaangkla lahat doon sa need ng dynasty na yan to remain in power.
Kaya nga kuminsan, lalo na yung mga dynasties sa mga hinterlands, no? Probinsya
Mhm.
natin, they have they even organize private armies,
Yeah.
di ba? Well-armed private armies. Kuminsan nagpapatulong sila sa armed forces or members ng ating
Police.
PNP para i-train yung mga private armies nila, no, against possible potential opponents from other dynasties o kaya kapag halimbawa yung mga inaapi doon nag-organize ng nagiging organized to challenge their hegemony.
Yeah.
And this is very prevalent, for example, in the Negros Islands, no?
Yeah.
So talagang hindi nagiging violent, madaling mag-shift to violence itong itong perpetuation nila ng kapangyarihan eh.
Kaya nga during election time, talagang super nag-uptick. I don't know exactly na kung ano ng level ng political violence, but it seems like it never really waned.
Kaloy,
Yeah.
siguro yung observable din is madaling sabihin, siguro Professor, I'm not sure if you'll agree with this one, nag-improve talaga ang mga political dynasties compared to their lolos, na
Mhm.
when Gans, Guns, and Gold ruled. The scions of these political dynasties are now better educated. They're more advanced in terms of their thinking, and some of them are inspiring. And these members of these political dynasties, ito yung na-engage natin, Professor, But then, that he's a member of a clan that perpetuates itself in power, no? Hindi siya pwedeng ihiwalay. And as we put together nga the names of the candidates in a family, talagang nagpapalitan lang sila, no, ng posisyon. And it can be disappointing when the more we would think progressive thinker among the clan, no, will eventually show true colors, so to
Yeah.
speak, no, when it comes to voting for whatever government policies. Makikita mo how dynasties operate. It's still there's a patriarch that lords over a clan, makes decisions, guides the movements. Makikita mo
Meron ba
na
kayong na-track, Carmela, na tipong, okay, one particular politician, wherever and whatever office na tinatakbuhan niya, na parang nag-grow siya organically, tapos naging formidable na siya ngayon, na hindi siya necessarily dynamic. So are we, probably just one candidate or one politician na parang tipong, naalala ko kasi yung dati si Grace Padaka. Although I can't think of any other cases na parang ganun yung naging track ng kanyang political career. Although again, siya rin mismo ay talagang antindi ng backlash against sa kanya ng mga politicians sa Cagayan. Meron ba kayong ganun na parang
sa Abra,
na-monitor?
si Governor Padaka. That was
Mhm.
quite a sad story, Professor.
Yeah.
No, I remember there was a time when our feature stories were all about dynasty busters, the Panlilios, the Padakas,
Yeah.
defeating dynasties. Si Governor Padaka ay nakasuhan.
Mm.
She got, my understanding, Professor, na talagang na-burden na siya dun sa kaso. We don't
Yeah.
know the
That's also my
merits of the
understanding.
case, but this also highlights, I think in one of the conversation, highlights the need to support new politicians kasi ang governance, ibang usapan din talaga yon, there's a lot of intricacies in governance. So I think na technical daw ba,
Na
although
technical.
we haven't
Mm.
really looked into the case filed against her. Ngayon parang wala na masyadong dynasty busters, but we're looking at some
Si
towns and
Kaka
cities.
Bagaw,
Oh, which
Surigao, how?
who lost din her
Okay.
position in Dinagat Island. Now it's someone else. It's not a Nicleo, but I think it's linked to a Nicleo, who is governor of Dinagat Island. Meron kasing pabalik-balik, Professor, no? May term din sila na minsan yung dynasties dormant. Hindi mo din
Mhm.
ma-rule out kahit na walang nakaupo ngayon kasi the history
Yeah.
nila bumabalik. Kaya yun yung challenge namin sa napagbibilang eh. Oh, iisa lang naman si Governor Hoffert ngayon. Political dynasty ba siya? So,
Mhm.
yun nga, ang tawag sa dynasty nila ay dormant. Ang nakikita namin na pwedeng mag-challenge actually sa mga political dynasties, Professor Kaloy, ay yung mga artista, no? Mga celebrities.
Mhm.
We're talking about TV hosts, movie stars, news anchors, and
Mhm.
sports personalities. They are able to win against political dynasties, no? It's really for national post, it's the game of name recall at may advantage talaga ang mga celebrities. So ito yung pinag-usapan natin kanina. Na-mention ni Professor na hindi naman in perpetuity ang rule ng mga political dynasties, but very often ang nakakatalo sa kanila political dynasty rin. But
Or
in some
nagiging
cases,
political dynasty.
ibang usapan yung tatalunin muna nila yung political dynasty at gagawa na rin sila ng
Sila.
sarili nilang political dynasty. So yan ang nakikita natin sa Senate. Now we have a number of media celebrities already there. Last election, the senatorial election was topped by Senator Robin Padilla, no? At ang pumangalawa sa kanya si Senator Loren Legarda. Ang
Mhm.
pumangatlo si Senator Tulfo, ano? Medyo
Mm.
huli
Mhm.
Senator Jinggoy Estrada. But the fact that despite these controversies, he still won a seat in 2022, very telling of his power, ano. And then we're going to see more celebrities joining the Senate after the 2025 elections based on surveys, no. Although the surveys that we have now, September lang yung public surveys, but we already know na topping the list ay another two Tulfos, no, na pwedeng pumasok sa Senado. So, ang daming mga developments in our politics. So, very interesting to watch also the celebrities. But they're not just celebrities, they're building their own dynasties. So, dynasty pa rin.
Yeah, kasi yung mga ganyang klaseng mga personalities dahil meron silang wide national exposure sa media, tapos also nagkakaroon sila ng they're able to accumulate resources. They're able to challenge the traditional dynastic families kasi siyempre yung mga tao din mga tao ano na tayo parang many people are already fed up with these dynasties, same family name, and are looking for alternatives, no? Kaya kung
Mhm.
merong mga ganitong personalities na merong wide exposure, tapos hard-hitting pa, tapos may resources to challenge the dynastic families, yan, nakakalusot, no? Nakakalusot sa ano. But unfortunately, itong mga ilang ganitong nakakalusot, once they're able to taste power, tapos nakikita nila yung colleagues nila, mga puro galing sa dynasty. Pati sila nakikisabay na rin, di ba?
Yeah, that's
Nangyayari yan
true.
pati kay Pacquiao, di ba? Look at what's happening Pacquiao at Jensen.
At least 10 ang Pacquiao family
Tapos
running next year. Ang
Wow.
asawa, well, dati namang vice governor si Jinky, professor, ano? Pero
Sawa,
ngayon ay party list na rin
kapatid,
siya.
mga kapatid.
Kapatid.
Oo.
Um,
That's amazing.
Ang isa siguro na interesting, Kaloy, is yung celebrated na celebrity politician ay si dating Governor Vilma Santos, ano.
Oh yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
done a
That
lot of good in Batangas. She's been an example. But there's a lot of disappointment nung nag-file sila nitong Oktubre kasi dalawang anak ang kasama niya, no? Ang si Luis Manzano at saka forgot the name of the younger son. Pero
she
yun,
got lucky.
biglang she got lucky. Tatlo. That really disappointed a lot of those who appreciated her performance as governor.
But in the eyes of many Filipinos, lalo na yung medyo talagang starstruck din, they seem to not mind. Until, of course,
Ibang usapan kasi yung celebrity, Kaloy, no? Parang may
uh,
nagsabi pa nga if our political dynasties are no better, bakit naman natin pipigilan ng mga artista pumasok ng
well,
politika, di ba?
that's based on what you've found. What's the way forward for our democracy and for our elections? Is this something that I mean, obviously, this is something that a lot of Filipinos should really be concerned about. But I mean, how do they navigate or how do they confront all of this?
Na-mention ni Professor yung corruption That's really an issue when there are no checks and balances. But let's also look at abuse of state resources, which we are going to see during the campaign, which is a form of corruption. Ang Lente, no, ang Legal Network for Truthful Elections, has a good study na ginagawa nila every elections. Itong abuse of state resources, yung paggamit ng government vehicles, no, for their campaigns.
Mhm.
So, kung ikaw ay independent na politiko at tatakbo at wala kang resources, mahirapan ka talagang bumangga sa dynasties who control capitals, city halls, and use the resources of government. Ito yung pansinin natin, i-report, i-flag, no? Pag ginagamit na nila. Sometimes, even employees of this government, yung mga LGUs, ay nangangampanya na para sa mga families. And finally, siguro, as we reflected on our research, no, laging paulit-ulit na, and this is specific to the party list system, Professor, na laging sinasite kasi na at kinonfirm ko ito kay Professor Christian Monsod. Bakit ba naging ganito? Maganda naman ang intention ng party list system, no? Parang ang sabi ni Professor Christian Monsod, which the framers of the Constitution overestimated the spirit of EDSA and underestimated the greed of the politicians. Kaya ayun, kailangan talagang ireforma yung mga batas, so that we can address yung mga loopholes, no? Loopholes ng dahil walang batas, hindi ma-implement yung prohibition on political dynasties. Malinaw sa analyst natin na yun ang dapat gawin moving forward.
Malinaw yung kanilang hindsight
Malinaw
for
ang
that.
hindsight.
Professor.
Well, like in any conflict where we are faced with a formidable opponent, magandang pag-aralan nating mabuti itong mga dynasties, their sources of power, vulnerabilities, so we can confront them. Tapos walang walang ibang uh, tayo magagawa kundi erase yung awareness ng mga tao and encourage the organization of people, the ordinary people, especially the marginalized, so that they can confront the dynastic rule of political dynasties. And ang ideal nga dyan, kung makapag-create ng tunay na political parties of the marginalized and the non-elite. Kasi ang sa politika natin ngayon, talagang elite dominated eh. Sila lang ang compete, no? It's an elite rivalry every time we have election to create and it creates an illusion of democracy whereas we are really a very highly undemocratic country in that sense, no? And because of that, so we need to challenge the dominance of these political parties by understanding itong phenomenon na ito and encourage itong people's organizations, no, to widen their ranks and even unite around issues that matter so that we can confront them. I think that's the only way, no, kasi I was thinking a while ago during our discussion sa South America, who have also been confronted, maraming countries doon who have also been confronted with political dynasties. Eventually, because of the organizations at the grassroots, they managed to create a political party of non-elite to challenge even at the national level yung mga elite political parties at kadalasan nga nananalo pa sila, napapanalo nila yung kanilang kandidato na galing sa marginalized social class.
Yung political dynasty problem, hindi naman ito unique sa Pilipinas. There are other countries that are doing this. Even the most advanced countries in the world are experiencing some of this. Nagbabari lang naman sa degree, But again, the challenge, of course, is that in many of these places, somehow may lumalabas na talagang genuine na progresibong pag-iisip para maayos yung problema at hindi man maalis yung mga political dynasties, at least man lang ma-moderate yung kanilang control. Maraming salamat Carmela Fonbuena ng Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism and Professor Roland Simbulan ng Center for People Empowerment in Governance. It's been a pleasure talking to you about this issue, and we hope PCIJ does a lot of this in the coming months, weeks, Carmela, and of course our friends in CENPEG continue to churn out all of this analysis that the public needs so much these days. Yun lang po mga kaibigan, maraming salamat, and this has been an episode of Harapan. This is Kaloy Conde. Magandang araw.